to speak the entirety of our full thought because he's in a position of power. And people in positions of power are protected. Now, we could speak our full thought, but then you risk jeopardizing your job.
My land of liberty, where I'm the king and queen. You want the same, but didn't put in as much work as me. You come from slavery, but you have been released. I'm tired of hearing about the past and your misery. Well, since it's history, let it be history.
I woke up Monday morning exhausted, discouraged, disappointed, and of course, disgusted. Because yet another powerful, seemingly wealthy black man is on his knees apologizing and asking for forgiveness. Oh, I'm King Richard, if you didn't know, aka the God of Rap from Creative Minds Entertainment. It's KME. You know the spiel. Doesn't bother me. Well, let's just go back for a second. Let's take it all the way back with this clip.
What you mean yesterday?
Okay,
I was there.
but you're giving him 100%
I
of the
did,
blame?
because
That's just, you have no objectivity. It's just straight Brady hate.
Skip.
Wait a minute. This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he is still playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
Skip, that's what you do.
That's the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous.
No,
Skip, I did what I did.
never said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
Skip, I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than
Way
you.
better.
Skip, what I got to see what you do? You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You would take a personal shot at me.
I didn't take a personal shot at you.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
You would take a personal...
Put your glasses back on.
Seeing my brother paralyzed on the field temporarily, and he was able to regain focus. Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down, but I didn't want it...
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me finish.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead, let's go, Jen.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me.
Well,
you could have came back, Skip.
well, I thought-
Skip, just let.
I didn't know you were going to bring up this.
I was just going to say, Skip, I didn't want to yesterday to get into a situation where DeMar Hamlin was the issue. We should have been talking about him and not get into your tweet. That's what I was going to do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
Okay. I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No. Clearly, the bosses wanted you to offer explanations, so clearly somebody...
No, they did not have... Nobody...
Let's go, Jen.
See how we allow them to get us so riled up because we're weak emotionally. We don't like to admit that, but that's one of our biggest flaws as black people. We're so weak emotionally. They get us charged up, and we end up paying the price most of the time. So what we need to do, obviously, is dial it back a little bit. So that's just the preface of this story. Now let's bring it forward. Let's bring it to the present. So this is what happened the other night at the Grizzly game with Uncle Shay Shay, a.k.a. Shannon Sharp.
Dylan Brooks was having words with Shannon Sharp, Hall of Famer and broadcast. And you see Steven Adams comes over to protect his guy along with the supporting cast, and then Shannon Sharp still talking, and T. Morant, John Morant's dad, comes over.
You know, guys, I've preached for the last 6.5 years, responsibility and accountability. And I take full responsibility for what transpired. It does not matter what Dylan Brooks said or how many times he said it. Me being the responsible person, me having the platform that I have, and having so many people look up to me, I was wrong. I should have lowered the temperature in the arena. Instead, I turned the temperature up, and I let it get out of hand. And I want to apologize to a few people. First of all, I want to apologize to the Lakers organization, Jeannie Buss, the Buss family. I apologize for any harm or unwanted attention that I brought to your organization. I want to apologize to the fans that were in attendance and the fans that watched on television, because that's not what you paid for and that's not what you tuned in to watch. Shannon Sharp should have been mentioned as someone that was at the game, not someone that let his emotions run high and get out of hand during the game. I want to apologize to the Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies, organization and fans, I am sorry. More specifically, I want to apologize to Dylan Brooks. He is a fierce competitor.
That's when the apology came Monday morning on Undisputed. I have zero problem. First of all, he apologized to everybody but me. I was waiting on my name to be called. I thought he was going to say
King Richard, a.k.a. God of Rap at some point.
somebody. I mean, he apologized to the dog, the cows, the sheep. I mean, he apologized for stealing lunch money back in the 4th grade. I mean, he apologized for a felony he didn't commit. I mean, he apologized for slavery at some point, I think. That wasn't the issue, though. I have zero problem with anyone apologizing when they are in the wrong and wanting to rectify the situation. I think we need more people like that in humanity. My only issue is it consistently happens with black entertainers, black actors, black politicians, black people in positions of leadership, black people in, law enforcement. It's ridiculous that we are always apologizing. And we don't find anything wrong with that. Now, most of us are apologizing because we're trying to save our job, our career, our source of income. So I understand that. But at what point do we start to stand up for ourselves and our principles and say, no, to hell with that salary, to hell with that position? See, if we were pro-black, it keeps coming back to pro-blackness. If we were pro-black, we wouldn't be in this position because we'd be taking care of ourselves. Everyone else is taking care of themselves. But is something wrong with us taking care of ourselves, looking out for our own, employing our own, educating our own? Is something wrong with that? We've let assimilation and the need to be equal to them ruin us.
Done here by someone here at this network that we're inhumane. And we sit here and we talk about how good, and I'm sorry to take it this way, but this route, but I just felt like sensible people and sensible human beings have a heart. And they understand that your words and what you say really have an impact, not only on that young man's family. And so all the attention should be on this young man and his recovery for sensible people like us here to say that it didn't affect anybody at this network, nobody at this network minded. That's a lie.
We have these very large, very muscular, very athletic, very skillful, talented, masculine black males getting on TV, consistently cowering, consistently getting on their knees, consistently belittling themselves and holding their heads down and apologizing. That's my issue right there. Once again, a lot of these brothers are making, they're in a, 5% of income. A lot of these brothers are in the 10% of income. Now, we know they aren't the owners, but they should be the controllers of their destiny, of their fate. We should. And I just don't understand, like, when you piggyback off it, you seen after that situation with Skip Bayless that he wouldn't apologize and he wouldn't take the tweet down and all of that. Notice he kept his job. Notice he never apologized. Men like him in a position like him, they never apologize. Women like him never apologize. They said what they said and they meant what they meant. And their network or their employer usually backs it up. That should tell us right there not to deal with them. It sounds like you're scared to say what you got to say. I guess it's what happened to Kanye West and Kyrie Irving. I guess that was like a public lynching, a castration of sorts, to show you what happens when you criticize the infrastructure, the system. This is the exact same system that most white people have a problem with. Caucasian Americans, European Americans, whatever you want to classify them as. This is the same system that most of them have problems with. But you know why they don't tear down this system, and you know why they don't see it as a color issue? Well, technically it's not a color issue. It's really a power and classism issue. Those of us who are intelligent know that. But there is color involved in it. There is racism involved in it. Discrimination is involved in it. You know why they don't tear it down? It's because it's the same system they can rely on to protect them. It's the same system that they can rely on to give them a source of income. So therefore, it's not really that big of a deal to them. And I addressed this in another video when I was talking about an ex-friend of mine who was white. I once posed this question to that friend of mine. would you be okay with everything in a position of power being black? His response as a white man was, but it's not. That let me know all I need to know about his psyche and how he thought about my people. He personally didn't think of me that way, but he thought about my people that way. And while I don't believe everything in America is based on race, once again, I just said that. I don't believe that racism is in every single thing on earth. It's there. To ignore it is dumb. But my bigger issue, once again, is not just the power struggle that we have at the top. My bigger issue is the problem in the imagery that we have with each other, the relationship that we have with each other. This is not about looking good for the white man. One thing we can control is our narrative as black people. We can control what we do, what we say. We can control those two things. We can't control what's said about us. So once again, I am not above apologies. I love Uncle Shay Shay. I think he is a true gem to the community. However, I'm getting tired and sick and tired, massa, of us doing this. He had no reason to really apologize. He didn't need to apologize. Because like I said, every other group that does things, they don't apologize for their behavior. They don't apologize for what they say. Why? Because they meant that. So black people, get off your knees and get on your feet.
LeBron asked a rhetorical question, but allow me to answer it. Why had nobody asked? People in positions of power are protected. It's very simple. People in positions of power are protected. Jerry Jones is in a position of power. Regardless of what color you are, if you're in a position of power, you're protected. Now, most NFL owners, 31 out of the 32, happen to be white. We know why that is. Go do your history if you do not. So those people that are in positions of power are protected. I feel culpable even on this show because we had yet to talk about Jerry Jones. Now, even within bringing it on television, Jerry Jones is in a position of power, so even we do not have full autonomy and authority to speak the entirety of our full thought because he's in a position of power. And people in positions of power are protected. Now, we could speak our full thought, but then you risk jeopardizing your job. And if you risk jeopardizing your job, you risk jeopardizing your voice.